Happy Summerween to all you weirdos out there. Jim here. And at the midpoint of Night Terrors, it looks like most, if not all, of the tie-in books are going to mean diddly or squat. Because of that, the main Night Terrors book by Joshua Williamson has to hit, and it has to hit hard. But up until now, it's barely thrown a punch. Joshua Williamson is trying to play this up as a big mystery, but does anybody even care? I've already talked about this, but is anybody debating with their friends or at the comic shop where this Nightmare Stone might be? Oh my God, whose nightmares does the night? Nobody's talking about it. Instead, I see a lot of people confused about the rules of the Nightmare Realm, and even more people calling it quits with the whole damn thing, and even more people that said they didn't even get involved in the first place. But all that can easily change as we jump into Night Terrors number 2, right? I mean, I want to be hopeful. I want to be kind of positive. I'm hoping that things can change. Well, let's find out.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Let's find out after I give another shout out to my buddies over at the Second Print Comics YouTube channel. I've been friends with Mark and Remzo for years. They have really helped me out over those years, so I want to help them back and have people go check out their channel. And I think that you will like it. If you like what I do here, I promise you will love what they do there. They are way more funny, smart, and way better looking than I will ever be. So I think that you'll enjoy their channel. I'll put a clickable link in the description so you can just click, go to the channel, subscribe, and then thank me later. But here we are. Night Terrors number 2, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Giuseppe Camuncoli, Stefano Nessi, and Caspar Wijngaard. Now, every review I've done, say The First Blood and Night Terrors number 1, I keep saying kind of the same thing, that everything in this story seems to need a forced way to get to the next thing. Nothing feels natural. It might feel supernatural, right? But nothing even feels that. Nothing feels like it is a worked out story. It keeps feeling to me like things are being made up on the fly. And Joshua Williamson keeps running into brick wall after brick wall and has to just say, well, I'll have this happen just because. And it happens again in this issue. We do end up getting some new information, but the way that the information drops is kind of, head scratching. It's kind of annoying. And even then, what little we get doesn't really push the overall story forward because he gets tangled up in these weird things that he thinks he has to explain when he doesn't realize that there are way bigger things that aren't explained up until now, and he's let lay there without explaining. But I'll get into this. After an odd attempt at humor, we kick things off here with Deadman and the newly resurrected Wesley Dodds Sandman discussing how Wesley would know Batman. Oh my God, you end up having Wesley Dodds resurrected, says Batman? And Deadman says, no, it's me, Deadman, inside of Batman. But how do you know Batman? Do we need to know this? I mean, the idea, I don't think anybody is going to bat an eye that Wesley Dodds comes out of the grave and says, Batman? But yet Williamson seems like he has to explain this, but then doesn't really explain it. He ends up saying, well, Deadman, there's a multiverse and time travel. Oh, okay, let's move on. I don't know why we needed that. It goes hand in hand with the idea that Williamson thought he had to explain that when everybody fell asleep, not one person in the entire world died because, robots and some heroes didn't fall asleep. The more you explain these things, the more it points out that you really don't know what you're doing or you're just fudging things. So stop. They explain the things that we need explained. But he already did this and he just keeps doing it. You mentioned the idea in this issue again with the robots saving all the people who fell asleep. Now, in between recap and odd explanations, we do get some new information. In the past, Wesley Dodds did break up a cult trying to get the Nightmare Stone. All right. The thing is, this info is dropped conveniently to then lead in a separate deal of Insomnia jumping into the nightmares of the son of one of the cultists, but then finds out that this kid knows nothing about the Nightmare Stone. But hey, while you're there, why not Freddy Krueger it up by shoving coins into the guy's mouth to kill him because, his father was greedy. I mean, we really have a bunch of play here of Wesley Dodds saying, I broke up this cult. Oh my, maybe I should have done more, but it was early in my career, but nobody would be alive. That's way past. Those people are all dead. Only to then get forced that Insomnia heads off into this nightmare of this kid, but gets nothing. Nothing at all. We also find out that Deadman is still connected to Insomnia, but that's just, again, to see Insomnia's nightmares so that we can then get backstory on Insomnia in such a forced way. And whether or not it makes sense or not, we still at least get some background info. But what do we get? We find out that he met John D. in Arkham Tower. All right, I could kind of assume that. We also find out he was pissed that the Justice League returned from the dead in Dark Crisis. Okay. And then at the end, possibly he was tortured by the Arkham doctors. Now, that last part is what Deadman just yells out. Oh my God, I didn't know he was tortured by the Arkham doctors. But in the scene, we actually see Insomnia as he freaks out about the Justice League. The doctors have to sedate him after he flips out and snaps the neck of an orderly. I mean, the idea that they have to keep him, you have to keep him sedated, sleeping, because he's breaking necks. But that's not torture. We don't see anything past that. I think they're just playing with the idea, a guy who can't sleep, they actually put to sleep. Oh my God, what's the world coming to? It seems obvious, though, with this, that Williamson's going to end all this by trying to make Insomnia at least a little bit of a sympathetic villain. And I'll tell you right now, it ain't working on me. So he better start doing more than seeing a guy break a guy's neck and get sedated. I mean, seriously, I wish I was sedated right now. The issue then ends with Deadman and Dodds getting called to Terrific Tech. But when they get there, they kind of start talking, not much. It's a lot of recap. It's a lot of, hey, this is how we saved everybody from falling asleep. Oh my God, Mr. Terrific, he's asleep. I wonder what his nightmares are. And then out of nowhere, the sleepless nights show up. But again, this isn't out of nowhere because it was forced in that, oh my God, since Deadman can still see the nightmares of Insomnia, that must mean that Insomnia knows where Deadman is. Boom. Sleepless nights. And just think of the way that this is presented, the way that this plays out. It's just information thrown at you at each step of the way. Oh, you get this. I actually still have the nightmares of Insomnia. Boom, backstory. Oh no, if you have the nightmares, does that mean he knows where you are? Boom, sleepless nights. That's all this is. Even the deal with Wesley Dodds. Yep, I did have that case. It's haunted me. It has. And he ends up, this cult, boom, that just ends up with Insomnia going off to the dreams of this kid. Nothing feels any bit, connected at all. It's just random scenes mushed together without much connective tissue. And in the end, it just doesn't do anything. It does nothing. And the art hasn't been an issue since the start of this. But maybe my overall boredom of this event is seeping in because, while nothing looks bad, I don't think there's anything that I would get excited about art-wise. There's nothing that I'm sending my buddies screenshots. Oh my God, you got to see this. Oh my God, did you see this? Even the fact that you have 3 artists. And a lot of times when you have that, you'll go through and, I really like this guy. That must be his art and page. I don't even bother. Nothing here is any bit exciting. It's not scary. You end up at the beginning even starting it off as a joke. I mean, what is this? What is this? Joshua Williamson continues to show he doesn't have a very interesting story here and proves what a lot of people already knew after Dark Crisis. He's not good enough writer to spearhead an event. With the tie-ins not advancing the main Night Terror story, which I also throw a lot at the feet of Joshua Williamson, plus the editorial, because I talked to a lot of these creators on the tie-ins, and they said they didn't get told anything, nothing at all about the story. So they're writing tie-ins just blind, so they're just doing generic nightmares. That's why it's not connected. And this is all BS is what it is. So with that, with the tie-ins doing nothing, the Night Terror story needs to happen here. The main book needs to do so much more. And I guess Joshua Williamson didn't get that memo, because so far there isn't enough story for a regular just issue. let alone an event issue, let alone an event that put the whole damn line of Dawn of DC books on hold for 2 months. Now, I know there's a couple coming out, but, I'm angry now. I'm going to give this Night Terrors number 2 a 4.5 out of 10. And I think I'm going to do like a midway report card, a midterm Night Terrors report card, give a grade. I'll try to do that later this week, but I'll tell you right now, it's not going to be a surprise. I am not very into this. I am kind of more mad when I end up reading these books, just realizing not just that this is supposed to be an event, you're hijacking a lot of people to buy a lot of books, but you're also putting on hold some books that were really, really getting good, really hitting and getting the momentum of people coming back to DC Comics to actually enjoy some comics. You just completely obliterated it. That's the real nightmare. Happy Summerween, everybody, but thanks a lot. And I'll see you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.